Something that I find awkward to do sometimes is self-pleasure, as in masturbation or playing with myself. And I find it to be awkward because of that sensation of giving and receiving simultaneously. It's like the chicken and the egg. Am I feeling the pleasure part or am I feeling the giving part? And which part is stronger? It becomes like a debate for me whenever I do it. And sometimes I can get out of my head about it and just experience the pleasure and have fun. But other times I like to use toys or different things to have a level of separation between myself and myself. I'm Latia. Welcome to my channel. I talk about sensuality, sexuality, all sorts of fun, pleasurable things. And today I'm just chatting about the relationship to self. So I've done a lot of programs around personal development and some of them around sensuality and sexuality and becoming an embodied woman. So I've done Landmark, I've done One Taste, I've done Mama Gina's Mastery Program, I've done I'm in a How to Talk to Men incubator. I have high performance coaching. I do HPX, which is now Growth Day. I'm in Influencers Business Program. I am a personal development junkie. I love doing things that are made to help me become a better person, learn more about myself, and get in touch with my emotions and being a more embodied person. So one of the things that came up for me recently was this exercise to know, are you an orgasmic person or not? And the way orgasm is usually seen is that big climax and that explosion and everything goes off and it's really big. And that is a form of orgasm, but that's not the kind that all women will experience. And it's like there's rise and flows to it, where being orgasmic is more about like feeling the build up and the rise and then coming back down and calming it. And like that can be an orgasmic experience. And one of the ways in which I've been taught and have seen for knowing if you're orgasmic or not is if you take your hand and you take your finger and you draw a circle around the palm of your hand and you stay out of the middle of your hand and you just keep doing this. And like, you can go slowly, you can go fast and play with it. But what happens is if the center of your hand wants to be touched and has like that craving to be touched, then you're said to be an orgasmic person and have that ability to like to mess an area and build up that pleasure and that sensation of wanting to be touched, that desire, that just arousal, if you will. So what does this have to do with self-pleasure? For me, I know that sometimes I like to explore self-pleasure with myself, as in my hands only, because it gives me a sense of biofeedback. And biofeedback is that the response of my body to my body. Like I can feel what's happening, engage what's going on. So Dr. Saida Désillets talks about jade egg mastery. And when she speaks about it, she says that she starts you off with your finger before you get to the jade egg, because there's going to be the sensation of opening and closing that you want to feel. So you know when to go in and when it's open and ready versus when it's not. And sometimes we're not as in tune with our lower regions as we could be because we don't have anything that teaches us to be in touch with it. So now we have this challenge of exploring an area of our bodies that is taboo to explore, with like all the flicking the bean and weird nicknames that they give it when women are touching themselves, even though like banging the bishop and all other things for men too. Playing with a woman is a bigger challenge than playing with a man because it's not as straightforward as it could be. So when it comes to biofeedback and getting that sensation of what is my body doing, it's good practice to sometimes use your hands and like just get in touch with yourself on a deeper level, so that now you're understanding, this is what my body does, this is how it responds, this is a good sensation and this is not. I know that for myself, I like to work on my sensations so I can make sure I'm feeling everything that's going on down there, because sometimes I'll be in the middle of doing it and it just feels like I've stopped feeling the penis. It just goes away, and I know it's still in there because we're still going at it, but I don't feel it. And it's just like, on the one hand, I'm happy about it. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We can do whatever. Now I'm like free to just be a wild child and like do whatever, because it's not hurting. I'm not feeling anything. It's whatever. But on the other hand, it's like, I would like to have that sensation to know, okay, this is what's going on. Everything's okay. Nothing's broken or damaged. And knowing that I'm still good, which I usually am. So there's like, it's more my personal preference and my journey with myself that I want to expand in that way. And toys are great, but sometimes they speed up the process. So it takes out a lot of like the exploration and like the up and down and like the nuance of it. So it can make it a flatter experience than it would be if you're forced to kind of like take your time and figure out like what feels good, and maybe this spot works today but it doesn't work tomorrow, and now I have to try something new and figure out like what is it that really turns me on. So I know I'm on that journey, and I like to explore new things with myself to see like what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. But always, well, if you're gonna go straight for the clit, you should use lubrication for sure. That is something that's very helpful, and it works wonders and makes for a more pleasurable experience. And so those are just some of my ideas around like self-pleasure and touching oneself. I know that for me, it took me a while to get to a point where I could just do it freely and not feel uncomfortable about it. But I kind of fell into self-pleasure while watching something I shouldn't have been watching when I was younger. And I like started using my legs to do it. So for the longest time, I didn't have to use my hands, and I could like experience and like fill it out. And then eventually I started using my hands and like getting more involved, and like I've had an evolutionary path of my self-pleasure journey, and it's been a fun one. And I hope that if you're on it, it's fun for you as well. If you have questions, please comment below and let me know. And I will see you next time. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.